Daniel, I got a question about celebrities first. I was outside a hotel one time where we were doing a junket, and I noticed all these professional autograph seekers outside. And it struck me as kind of odd. I'm sure when a fan comes up to you, you're happy to sign an autograph, but when you see a middle-aged guy with 10 things to sign, what goes through your mind?
The pile gets thicker and thicker, doesn't it, as well? That seems to happen. Like there's more and more and more stuff to sign. It's odd, isn't it? Isn't it odd?
Yeah.
I think it's odd. It's a bit like train spotting to me. I don't mean the film, I mean the activity of train spotting. I don't know if there are train spotters in this country, but there's a sort of tradition in England
spotting, yes.
of people in anoraks that go and take down the numbers of trains as they come into stations, and that's their idea of a hell of a good time. And it'd make you worry for... Well, on the one hand, you'd say, well, fair play to you for being so easily amused. But then you'd also worry about whether that's got to come out somewhere else, you know. But in the case of those hunters, it's it kind of makes you a bit uneasy.
And one more question before we talk about the movie, about the Oscars.
Yeah.
I've often wondered, after Oscar night, when you fly back home with the statue, what do you do with it? Do you put it on your carry-on, or do you ship it, or you put it in your suitcase?
What I mean, when you're traveling with it?
Yeah.
I think I kept it pretty close to me most of the way. Yeah, I don't think I put that in baggage.
Well, turning to this film, the scenes where your teeth were yellowed, there are a lot of extras that working on the movie that were locals. How did they react to you on the days where you had the yellow teeth? Did you find people avoiding you a little bit more?
Giving me a wide berth. Yes, I don't remember those times being particularly sociable times.
You know, you've done many period films, different types of costumes from different eras. How did this movie compare with other films in on the comfort level of the clothes you were wearing?
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, as you know, I mean, you mentioned before we started the Age of Innocence, those people tortured themselves in the way they dressed. That's what they set out to do, and they achieved it really well. It was part of their thing. Well, the Puritans tortured themselves in a different way, not in the way they dressed, although probably for the girls it wasn't so easy. But the clothes were clothes. The clothes of people that worked, that needed to be able to, you know, use their bodies in a practical way. So they were, that's as good as it gets. Very comfortable and strong, and, you know, clothes you can mess around in. It's funny because the guy who designed those, Bob Crowley, I've been working with Bob longer than anyone else that I've ever worked with. I mean, we were students together, and the first year I was in the theatre, he designed everything I did, and so there's a long association there, and I was thrilled that he did that. He's a clever man.
Got a question about being on location. If you're shooting a movie, say, in a soundstage in Los Angeles, you can get off the lot, go down the street, and basically do whatever you want to. When you were on location for this film, what was it like, and what did cast and crew do to amuse themselves in between takes?
I don't know what everybody else did. I think there were kind of golf buggy races and stuff like that. A lot of people tuned up their golf buggies. I had a horse though, so I was okay. I had a horse and a beeper in my pocket and just disappeared into the woods when I needed to. I think a good bit of whittling got done as well.
Do you think that was one of the more difficult locations you've ever shot on?
It was one of the easiest locations I ever shot on. It was an ideal location. It couldn't get any better than that, or any easier. Even when it was at its most difficult, say when the weather came in and the paths turned to mud, what that place gave to you in terms of its isolation, the isolation that works for filming, because filming is an isolationist activity that very often we have to conduct in sort of like adverse circumstances. But on an island, you can't get any better. And also for the story itself, obviously, to have that sense of being in an enclosed community with no escape, it's ideal. It doesn't get any better.
Great. Great. Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure finally getting to meet you there. So.